I cleared the full Arcadion Savage raid tier in Party Finder on Healer in week 1, and I want to talk about just how freaking awesome that has been. I'm going to start off by saying that this was totally unplanned. So I got off of work on Friday evening and I was responding to messages, and I know that a lot of people don't want to hear about the dark stuff that I'm battling with because stuff is so freaking real in real life, and I'm not going to lie, I'll save it, I'll timestamp it because I know a lot of people don't want to hear about it, that's fine. But basically I got off on Friday evening and I read a whole bunch of messages that boiled down to just do it, stop crying, get this raid tier done, focus on getting this done. This is just, it's a fun tier, you're gonna add to your credibility and like of everything that you say, just throw yourself into it. And so I got off of work, and then Friday evening I'm like, okay, we'll see if I just clear 1, which it was such a blast that I was like rolling off of that hype and that energy into 2, which turned into 3, and then early Monday morning that turned into clearing 4 and the entire raid tier, which is so cool. And I even got my warrior battle axe, which warrior was one of the jobs that I did look at taking into the furry ultimate raid that's coming out in what, 4 months. But I want to talk about healing here because a lot of people say the very true statement that this is the hardest that the raid tier is going to be on healing, because as people get more gear, whether it's through tomestones, whether it's through other raid drops, it gets a lot easier, and then those mitigation checks don't matter as much. Those heals are a lot easier to like finish off, and I would say that that's an absolutely true statement. So one thing that I did say in a past video that people called me elitist for is you really want food. I'm not being an elitist for the saying that you want to use food, because in M4S there is a pretty basic AoE, like I'm not talking about the one that she even starts off with. There is one where literally we can survive it without like needing to GCD barrier heal if you use food. Like you'll be low, you will be very low, but we can easily recover that with OGCDs. But if you don't have food, well, we know who doesn't have food. And plus, frankly, the healing in this raid set, oh my god, I don't know how to even say it. It was so fun at points, and really, like, that example that I just pulled out was a very specific one, but there is so many cool healing moments. Like, I look at like P4, Pandemonium 4, where it had Kern Call, and how fun that healing check was. 2 has a version of Kern Call, 3 has a version of Kern Call, and that's, I'm meaning 2 and 3 of the current raid tier, and 4 has a bunch of different damage spikes too. I have to say, healing in every single fight this tier was fun. I'm gonna say it. I don't know about the DPS role because there's enough people saying, oh, this was the easiest raid tier ever. I liked it. I enjoyed it a lot. And as someone who cleared it week 1, so you know that I had my nards kicked in a few times. Quite lovely. The amount of mitigations missed sometimes by a lot of my groups this way. I was progging, oh my god. Okay, I got kicked in the nuts a lot in Party Finder on Healer, which I liked it because it was like chaotic, and it's just like, I remember that there were some groups that made like some errors, and I'm like, really, it's okay, because like this is fun. It's just like there's a revive going here, there's someone taking chip damage there, there's someone standing in the bad there, oh my god. I fucking loved that, and that's something that I've said on this channel before, and like I have obviously PF'd Uwu, which turned into PFing T. Like for some reason I just love PF. I work in PF, and throwing myself into PF, it felt so freaking rewarding. Like the healing mechanics are so good. Like there are so many repeated damage things. There's big burst damage intervals, like doing EE2 and then everyone's spread off. Then you have that either pairs or spreads, and then I remember 2 because she got 2 cheeks, and then I remember 3 because, okay, we can't say that on YouTube. But in terms of it, I honestly love the healing moments. There were so many moments where healing this just felt so fucking good, and I went off of the high of the 1 into the 2nd, into the 3rd and 4th, and then I cleared the tier, and I gotta say, healing it with the chaos and carnage of Party Finder was so fucking rewarding. I absolutely adored it. Part of me's thinking, do I want to re-record that part, because did I go off of how much fun I had healing it? I'm not gonna re-record that. That is my raw, honest fucking thoughts. I absolutely loved it. It was the chaos that I wanted, because it's just like, oh my god, are they gonna remember Reprisal this time? Answer was 90% of the time, no. Maybe I shouldn't say that, but no. It wasn't remembered. Or Faint, or Adult. It was raw. It was no lube, it went in raw. That was the Party Finder prog experience. This is raw. healing was brought. And I'm like, oh my god, damn, that hurt. Woo. Hey, I mean, I'm not going to feel bad for the caster that didn't use a personal shield and had Addle available for the big AoE they should be addling, and they died. Like, I mean, I ended up over-healing a hell of a lot because I didn't want them to actually continue to die, but I was like, I'm not going to feel bad about the few times that you die. And just to be clear, because I know someone's going to call me elitist for that, I did start personally GCD healing that caster. There were a few of that caster. It wasn't just one person, it was probably like 20. But man, oh man, like, what a fun tier. The mechanics, I like them. And I see that, like, yes, there wasn't that many stupid puzzly mechanics, and oh, we want to talk about body checks. Actually, I'm going to timestamp that even. There are body checks in Arcadion Savage. Do you know why I'd know? It's because I was walled on the 4th fight where I literally got to that final sunrise or sunset or whatever mechanics, sunrise Sabbath, and we wiped at there because people were aiming cannons, doing PvP with the cannons. Like, you remember that near raid where you aim the cannon at the other group? There were like 40 or 50. And I exaggerate not times that I saw that cannon blast someone, and I was like, crap. And that's all I could say was, oh god. And yep, back to the start of the fight we went. And for the record, for anyone who isn't familiar with that mechanic, that is the very last thing. It's like 12 or 12 and a half or whatever minutes, and it's at the very tail end, and it's like, ooh, PvP. But trust me, there were a lot more body checks than that. Now I'm going to have a maybe little bit more hotter take, is Arcadion Savage, maybe it doesn't have the most groundbreaking, riveting mechanics, but there is a lot of PvP. Like in the second fight, one person not doing hearts correctly heals the boss, which made that DPS check alarmingly harder. Like, okay, the damage thing I could overcompensate and that'd be fine, but the healing and failing that DPS check sucked. First boss, I mean, if you've ever done it, you understand that there's PvP with, like, falling back and, like, is this person trying to be knocked into the far corner and standing on the center? Are they going for this platform or that platform? I cannot tell you in PF how many people literally did, like, if you're trying to do that mechanic, guys, I'll say it this way. If you're trying to do that mechanic, please try and position yourself in a way that's clearly visible and communicate effectively. It's just like, if you're going and doing a like left-hand turn in a car, turn on your fucking signal light. That's basically all I'm asking for. Like, the amount of PvP in those fights, like, I think that those fights are going to become exponentially harder over time. Ugh. But now I've basically told you my honest feelings about the raid tier. It was fucking amazing. The music, the story, the graphics, the visuals, the transition in the boss fight, the boss having that transition phase was so cool, even though people messed up those mechanics so much. And the heal check even in that was super good. Like, she would do a bunch of banger AoEs and it was amazing. But now let's talk about why I did it. And I mean, there's a whole lot of reasons. Like, some of the first ones were that I have had many Savage groups and I was basically blamed for them falling apart. Like the P8S Savage group that I put together, I was blamed. P4S, I was blamed. P12S, like, I was blamed for that too. I was always blamed for every failure. The other thing is, it's just like, and it's not for me to prove it to anyone. Like, let me be radiantly clear. All the people in my past are dead to me. My cheating fiance is dead to me. The assholes that absolutely smashed my name into the dirt are dead to me. They're all dead to me. I didn't do it for them. I did it more for myself than anything, because it's just like those messages, and I still have so many people to reach back out to. They said, you need to do this for yourself, for your channel's credibility, to prove to yourself that you can do it, and to just throw yourself in it. Because, and maybe I'll even timestamp it, I did this in Party Finder with no friends. I did this in Party Finder without a carry. I did this in Party Finder without a static. I did this on Healer too. I was in no fucking capacity carried, and I needed to see that for myself. I didn't want friends. I didn't want other content creators. I wanted myself in Party Finder, throw myself to the wolves, see if I can do it. And if I can do it to week 1, that would prove to myself that I deserved to do this. That I deserved to talk about the tier, that I deserved to pull up stats on FF logs and talk about it. No, the math isn't going to change. No, my approach to things isn't going to change. No, I'm not a radically different person for it, but I needed it for myself. And this is one thing that a lot of people don't understand about content creation, is every single motherfucker that you hear on Twitch or YouTube or Twitter or God forbid whatever the fuck, they're all just people. We're all people, and we're all deeply flawed in one way or another. Like, there's even one that literally asked me to buy him a bad dragon dildo years ago. Like, I'm not even joking. And I, stupidly enough, did PayPal him the money because I felt really bad because he was single at the time, and I digress. But, like, every single person out there is damaged in some form or another, and my form of damage comes in the form of, like, just shit that I've been through. It's just like the fiance cheated on me, left me for dead, told me that I wasn't a good raider, that raid groups would always fail. I had assholes in my past say that I didn't know what I was doing, healing, and then all this stuff. And, like, just this imposter syndrome, because it's just like, I don't know everything. I'm trying my best. It's just like, the economy is so bad, guys, that it's just like, I even question, like, what are my next steps? And that's something that I recently talked about, because I really don't know what my next steps are. Am I moving to Texas? Am I moving to Austin, Texas? That's seeming to be something that's in the cards. Like, I digress, but the point is, I did this for me, because I didn't want to have someone who's a content creator carry me because they were like, oh, maybe I can do like a collaboration and gain more subscribers if I like do it, because Cole has 25,000, as if that's a big deal. Even if I had 100,000, I'd say, is that a big deal? Because I know people with 5 million. Like, it doesn't matter. But, like, I did this for myself to, like, basically prove to myself that I deserve to talk about this, that I do deserve my place here. And I know that that sounds so paradoxical, because on the other hand, I also didn't do it to prove to anyone. Like, if any one person asked me, oh, you did it for me, fuck off. Fuck off, that's the most freak shit ever. I did it for myself because I want to do it, and because I also had fun. I also, like, the M1 hype rolled into the M2 hype, which rolled into the M3 and M4 hype. I really enjoyed it. And I'm gonna say the spicy hot take, I would rather a tier be enjoyable, and because I didn't hate a single floor here, I would rather a tier be completely enjoyable than not. But easier. Like, I'd rather a tier be a little bit easier, which I don't think this was a trivial tier. I'll say that, because, like, I don't know, M4S was spicy. M4S was definitely spicy, guys. Like, maybe it's because you have, like, the filters on right now, because if you don't get through M1, M2, and M3, then M4 you can't do. I think when more people get to M4, you're going to see some of these PvP mechanics really show up. But, like, I was not carried through the tier. I did it myself. I went on healer, and that felt fucking amazing. It, like, obviously, all those people I said are dead in my past, they are. But unfortunately, a lot of the guilt, a lot of the pain does linger. And so to be able to, like, shed that off on my own with no help, nothing. I went in with a fucking paste bin and a prayer after finishing my day job on Friday night, and to see it actually go down, and to have the stupid warrior axe in my inventory as I'm doing this video, like, it feels great. I mean, obviously shit's real for me. Shit's really real. I don't know where I'm gonna live. I want to move to the USA. Like, there's so many different painful things that I'm asking right now about who am I, what am I meant to do. It's just like, do I even have an identity without Brendan in my life? Like, it's just like, my life, to be clear, was to move down to San Diego, and things like grad school were on the table for me to get my own doctorate in neuroscience, but that dream's dead. Like, that dream is dead at this point. And then, like, obviously my mom had her surgery, and then there was all that, and it hasn't spread, everything's good, there's no cancer at all, thank God up above. But, like, I don't even know who I am anymore. All I know is that I work my job, I do 14, I do YouTube, and I'm just trying my best. Like, in all ways, I am very lost, but I can say, going in and doing this tier at least makes me feel like I belong here. And I guess that is the biggest thing. Because I can say I sure as fuck don't feel like I belong anywhere else. Damn, I don't even know who I am anymore, if I'm frank. Real.